Yep, 2024 is officially here. Welcome to the chaos. This is Prepper Nation, and I am John. Thank you very much for being here this morning. Yep, it has officially started. We knew it was going to happen. A lot of us predicted it. 2024 is just going to be a full on loaded diaper into the ceiling fan fest. We know it's coming, son. And it actually did not wait until 2024. We're going to cover three things this morning that actually started taking place before the official kickoff of the new year. And then I'm going to give you my translation of these three things, what I think they actually mean, and what they mean for the United States of America moving forward. So, first and foremost, you can find any of these three with a quick Google search. Okay, the information should be right there. Starting with December the 27th. All right, CBS News anchor Catherine Herridge. That might be my first mispronunciation of the year. I don't know. I'm saying it's Herridge. Anyway, she's an analyst for CBS News. They were live on TV, and this is a direct quote, again, back on December the 27th. She said 2024 will provide a black swan event. I saw this news for roughly 30 minutes, and then it was replaced by a bunch of Taylor Swift news, Gypsy Rose. That's another story for another day, right? On another channel. But I said, wow. And here's why. The prepping community, yeah, we talking about black swan events left and right. This is stuff that you would hear in a prepping and survivalist community. This is the kind of stuff you expect to hear on friends' websites, like our friend Alex over there at InfoWars, right? But you don't expect a major news network on live TV to have an analyst come on and say, we can expect a black swan event, again, direct quote, in 2024. So this is very problematic. And again, I'm going to break down what I think is happening here in a few minutes. The second thing, as we predicted here at Prepper Nation, block Trump from the ballots. Started with Colorado, then it's kicking over to Maine. Of course, these are going to the feet of the Supreme Court, right? They may be overturned. And if they're overturned, this is actually going to fuel Trump's reelection, I believe, which we'll get into in a minute. But as I said, a week or two ago, folks, I don't think elections should come down to the judicial system. It should be pretty cut and dry, right? Should be us going in, voting on paper ballots, just saying, and letting the cards fall where they may. Uh, but as we've incorporated the internet and as we've incorporated digital voting machines and things, now we're dragging the judicial system in. I mean, it's really pulling us away from what elections represent in the first place. Okay. Here's a list of states that are considering removing Trump from the ballot. Again, you can do a quick Google search, but Arizona, Nevada, Oregon, New Mexico, New York, and Texas. I was very surprised to see Texas on there. So this is a list of states that are kind of sitting around waiting to see how this pans out. If Trump's not allowed on one ballot, as I predicted again a couple of weeks ago, you're going to start seeing piling on, especially by leftist leaning states. But again, I was surprised to see Texas there. And finally, and this one kind of makes me sick to my stomach, son, if I'm being honest. The Biden administration is working in conjunction with the president of Mexico, and they're discussing a system. They're trying to put together a system that would give blanket amnesty to the illegals that are here. Okay. And moving forward, they want a system where we could continue to absorb illegals here in the United States, a working system between Mexico and the United States rather than just kick these people out. Um, Now, in their own wording, the White House says they want to allow vital illegals to keep coming in moving forward. So, in other words, there was no problem, and then the problem was in Trump's lap, and we're going to fix the problem, even though we're not really going to go to the border for more than 15 minutes at a time. Now, the Biden administration is admitting it's a huge crisis. But again, a manufactured crisis. Again, if you've been here for a while, you know the blueprint by now. It's the same blueprint. Cause the problem, get people riled up about it, swoop in with your own, hey, here's a fix all, right? We see this across different things, but when it comes to illegal immigration, they're working on a fix all, which I would argue is not really a fix all. But we're going to discuss it here. If you haven't done so and you don't mind, maybe hit thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That would truly be appreciated. But anyway, let's get back to it. First analogy of 2024, because I think it applies to the first point here. Okay. Um, well, let me see here. It's how can I put this? I'm spitballing it here. There is a restaurant nearby. They're building a fast food joint. I think it's a Bojangles. I cannot confirm nor deny this because it's about 10 minutes from my house. Anyway, I think it's a Bojangles, and what's going on is they are laying the groundwork. They're pouring the concrete, they're putting the foundation in because once they build this thing, they want it to be able to stand up and not just keel over and fall down, right? Building's kind of complicated, but I digress. Listen, in much the same way that this local Bojangles, and I know it's a weird analogy, and now I want a steak biscuit. I'm just throwing that in there. But in much the same way as they are laying the foundation before they build this thing, I believe that mainstream media is starting to lay the foundation for a black swan event. All right. So I'm getting alerts on my phone as I film this. It's like a couple of hours before the ball drops in New York, and they're saying they're on super high alert or whatever the alert level is because there have been threats made, against the United States on New Year's Eve and moving forward. It's not going to end with New Year's Eve. This is what makes it so dangerous here in the United States of America, as we've talked about. You have all of these normal people out here that believe with the drop of a ball in Times Square, everything fixes itself, like a magic wand is being waved or something, right? And we know as preppers, we know that's not going to happen. It's figurative. The ball's going to drop. The calendar is going to switch years. We're still in all the same messes. We still got all the fires going on. The threat of a black swan event is not going away, and it just really feels like some important people are laying the groundwork for a black swan event to allow this to drop on live TV on CBS. I Again, that was back on December the 27th. So while you don't want to live your life in fear, at the same time, you really need to pick and choose the very busy places that you're going to be visiting because there's a black swan event. All right. This is not going to happen in a trailer park. It's going to be somewhere massive. It's going to be somewhere where crowds are gathered. And I think, personally, this is why New York is on heightened alert. They're always on kind of an elevated alert anyway, because there's so many people gathered. But again, you've got Middle Eastern groups. I have to call them groups here, right, on YouTube. We don't want to offend anybody, son. Middle Eastern groups who are threatening events like this. So I believe the groundwork is being laid, is what I'm trying to say. Then when you get to the Trump deal, like him, don't like him, whatever. I'm voting for him if he's on the ballot. If he's not on the ballot, as I've said before, I'm just stacking ammo at that point because it's a charade at that point. But it's dangerous. It's dangerous territory. Um, I'm not a Biden fan, but I don't want to see him removed from the ballot. I think he's going to get the brakes beat off of him in a fair election. I've seen some conservatives calling for, well, we should do it to Biden then. Turnabout is fair play. And while I understand that argument, my argument this morning when it comes to all that, we shouldn't be doing it at all. We should not be removing people from primaries because look, Trump is not going to win as an independent. A lot of people said, well, I'll just write Trump in. Realistically, and you can do that, that's fine. It's better than voting for Joe Biden, okay? But realistically, do you honestly think in a system that is suspect at best, Trump is going to win a national presidential election as a write-in candidate? No, he's not. What would end up happening, a lot of people would write his name down. A lot of people would write down the other candidate, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis. This splits the conservative vote. This allows Biden or whomever is running for Democrats to remain in power. So this is a political elimination. This is them getting rid of the opposition in President Trump. I think, and this is me personally, he has become so popular because Biden is such a bad president, such a bad thief in chief, naughty thief in chief, right? He he's so bad at what he does. Kamala Harris so bad at her job. Trump looks more and more and more appealing. People are beginning to flip flop. People who never thought they would vote for Donald Trump are beginning to jump on the Trump train, so to speak, for 2024. And I believe the swamp has figured out we can't beat him in a fair election. We can't even cheat him because it's not going to be close. What is plan C? I think they're coming to plan C at this point. Plan C, don't even put him on the ballot. Make it impossible for this man to win. You can't win if you're not on the ballot, right? Maybe in a small town election, but not in a national election. It's not going to happen. And just throwing this in there, spoiler alert, if they have to go to plan D, medical lockdowns anybody. Finally, welcome to the North American Union. I don't know which one of these raises the antenna the most for me. The Black Swan event, okay, that's bad, but I'm in rural America. I'm not hitting Times Square for New Year's Eve, yada, yada, yada. You can avoid hot spots, so to speak. Really upset about Trump being taken off some of the primary ballots, but kind of expected it, if I'm being honest. All right. It's not like they were going to give the man a fair shake, in my opinion. But I think of all of these three, the worst by far is the Biden administration going to give amnesty to everybody that's here illegally. You know how we're saying sometimes on Prepper Nation, these aren't undocumented immigrants. They're illegals, right? Because they've technically broken the law. If they swoop in and do this, they're no longer illegals, folks. Let that sink in for just a second. No longer illegal. They are at that point undocumented immigrants who would at some point be documented and hey, welcome to America. But it's not America anymore. Because if we are collaborating with the president of Mexico at this point, we've already seen this. We've already seen this agenda, right? I told you guys about it 6 or 7 months ago. The UN has this agenda. They want the equivalent of the European Union here in North America, the North American Union. Open borders. They don't want Canada to exist. They don't want the United States to exist. They don't want Mexico to exist. They want to lump it all together as the North American Union. Why? It's easier to control. Instead of controlling three presidents, three forms of Congress and Parliament, now you just have one. You understand? Now the threat is real, and so this is not good news, but it's to be expected. Again, it's not like they didn't tell us this several years back. If you haven't been to the UN's website, go check it out. Go into the search bar and type 2030. It all pops up. They tell you in the wide open, they're telling us what they're doing to us because this is kind of what they do, right? These are not nice people whatsoever. 2024 is going to be, it's going to be rough. Um, Preppers are about to become the smartest people in the room and the most hated people in the room because, again, the ball is going to drop. Nothing's going to change. Normies are going to start to wake up. Not all of them. Some of them are a lost cause. Some you might as well go ahead and write them off on taxes or something. But some normals, some non-preppers, zombies, whatever you want to call them, they're going to begin to wake up after the new year. Maybe it takes a week, maybe it takes a month for that light switch to finally go off and them say, wait a minute, the war in Ukraine is still going on. Wait a minute, the war in the Middle East is still happening. Are you kidding me right now? Wait a minute, my groceries didn't go down at the stroke of midnight. They still cost twice as much. Still got medicine shortages. We still got tension over in the South Pacific. Wait a minute, maybe there's something to this prepping deal. Okay. And again, some people are going to jump on the prepping train. I promise you, you're going to begin to see a lot of new faces here in the prepping community. And if you do, be sure to welcome them, please. I'm just saying, make sure they shoot a thumbs up and coffee. Make sure that they are in live chat, please. But you're going to have another group. They're never going to prep, but they're going to be mad at you because you prepped. They're going to be mad at you because you're not short on anything. It is what it is. 2024 will be the year that we separate the wheat and the chaff. Promise you. Y'all buckle up. It's going to be nasty. Take care. God bless.